Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Running Point, a Friday edition. Anthony Harvey alongside that. I was like, where's that? There he is. Alongside Ty Martell. And we are brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, like always. And oh man, Ty, last night got insane.
It did, and we are lucky enough to be talking to some of the people that were live and in person with the insanity going on last night. As
Let's remind people what this looked like now, because they're not going to see any of this. This is
No,
good.
no.
Is good.
as a matter of fact, we're going to look at that. We're going to be talking with the two teams that upset coaches from the two teams that upset number both 1 and 3 last night. As Coach Nieder of the Struthers Lady Wildcats coming on today, and so is Coach Forsyth of Brookfield Lady Warriors. So
Yeah. The universe took those power rankings, crinkled them up, and just said, "We don't like this."
no, as we're gonna have a whole new look you would expect as well. We got recaps to get to in this first half hour for you, but 12:30 we're gonna be talking to Coach Forsyth on Lady Warriors taking down number 1 Leopards from Liberty, as well as the Lady Wildcats from Struthers. Coach Nieder coming on at 1 o'clock to talk about that win over Poland, and a big win at that. A buzzer beater, almost a buzzer beater by Faith Stellato that helped secure that win for the Lady Wildcats. A big one now that all of a sudden throws a huge wrench into everything for NE8 play now.
Okay, let's just start back at the top and do our recaps. Let's go with Brookfield Liberty. This is a game where Liberty came in undefeated, of course. Number 1 in the power rankings, riding high. Brookfield lost to them earlier in the season on a buzzer beater, literal buzzer beater in Liberty. Aaliyah Foster drove through the lane, hit a layup, could have had a free throw to make it a 3-point play, missed a free throw. So Brookfield had, maybe it wasn't a buzzer beater because I think Brookfield had maybe 0.6 seconds left to get a shot off after that. Point is, Brookfield lost in a heartbreaking fashion first time around. And Ty, I think this game was a very cold and slapping reminder that as good as Liberty is, and as good as we've praised them for being as good as they are, still a very young team. And they made a lot of young mistakes last night. And there's a double-edged sword with being that young team. They're young and they're talented. They're going to be here for a while. But there is that trap you can fall into with making young player mistakes. And you watched the game last night. I had it up while I was calling my game. And they just made a lot of, especially in the first half, a lot of young basketball mistakes. They came out kind of flat. Brookfield had more energy than them at the beginning, which is something you cannot do. You can't go into this game against Brookfield with low energy. You can't let them be the team that's pushing tempo. And then in the later stages of the game, when Liberty started to come back, they started to hit shots. They were fighting back. They were playing really aggressive man defense, and they got to the point where they were only down by 4 with maybe 2 minutes to go. That is plenty of time to play solid defense and just make stops and go. You don't have to play the foul game, but they kept putting Brookfield at the free throw line. They couldn't get into a disciplined, aggressive defense, and Brookfield shot really well at the free throw line and really ended the game at the free throw line. Refused to let Liberty come back, and despite Liberty making about 5 threes in the fourth quarter. So we saw a shocking and a cold reminder that as good as Liberty is, and as high as we praise them, and obviously we put a lot of respect on their name. They are a very young team still. Their big three are either juniors or sophomores. And last night, unfortunately for them, they fell into young player mistakes. Brookfield was a little bit more experienced, a little bit more senior led, even though Sophie Hook isn't a senior, Reardon is, Reichert is. So they were just a little bit more senior led, and they kind of showed that last night.
The biggest thing I wanted to look at is for Liberty too, and looking at just the box score too from last night. I wanted to just check one thing too, if I could. I don't know if they have everything updated yet. They might be waiting, but that offensive and the rebounding numbers, I think, are the biggest ones we need to check for that one. But the biggest thing I wanted to do, as I'm trying to pull these up for us. The thing with Brookfield and what they've always been able to do, well, at least the last couple of years, and what Coach Forsythe does a great job, he has these girls adjust very well. And we talked about the Crestview and how they couldn't get that bug off their shoulder. And they're a team that they pay attention to detail. They have high IQs. They know the adjustments that need to be made. And sooner or later, they are going to figure you out. There's not many teams that blow this Brookfield team out of the water to where they have no answers for you, especially if you're playing them more than once in a season. This team is a team that pays attention. They're smart. They know the adjustments they need to make. Sooner or later, they're going to start figuring out what works against you, what doesn't work against you, and they're going to play into that game plan. I think what we saw in that first matchup, too, and the reason why it was so close is that Brookfield, they were starting to figure out Liberty style, the type of play they needed to play against this, like you said, young Lady Leopards team. And by the time they came around with the second matchup, it seems like they had that game plan solidified in their head, something I'm sure they practiced a lot in leading up to this game. And Coach Forsythe definitely had those girls ready, and those girls were very prepared to take down number 1 seeded Liberty.
So now this is a Brookfield team that's 9-3, still 4-2 in the conference. They're even with that win, they are still a game back of Liberty because they have fallen to Garfield earlier in the season as well, 48-44. In fact, that was just last week.
Garfield might throw a wrench in the whole thing as well, too.
This is why I love this season of basketball, especially on the girls' side. It's so hard to kind of gauge these teams. Brookfield beats Liberty, Liberty beats Garfield, and Garfield beats Brookfield.
I don't think we have an undefeated team left either.
We don't.
YSN, that was the last one to fall.
So you look at these teams and you go, okay, so what team is really when we're talking power rankings? Which caveat, these power rankings have no weight. They're just for us to have fun. Like there's literally no weight to them at all, other than us having a fun discussion. I don't want things to get too carried away with these power rankings and saying, oh, they're off the number 1 seed. Now they're still going to be the number 1 seed in the district. Like let's be real. Liberty will probably be voted the 1 seed in the district, which is what they care about. When you look at these power rankings and you start to think, okay, how do we gauge these teams? How do we gauge Garfield, Brookfield, Liberty? When Liberty beat Garfield, Brookfield lost to Garfield, Brookfield beat Liberty, but Liberty also beat Brookfield. It gets really murky, especially this late in the season. It can't be cut and dry like strength of schedule. That's the only thing we're going to talk about. It can't be just plain head-to-head matchups now either, because now teams are starting to play each other twice. So what head-to-head matchup do you put more weight on, Brookfield's win or Liberty's win? I mean, that's why it gets really tough, especially the way the girls' basketball realm is shaping up right now.
Oh yeah, and everyone's beating everybody, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, when anybody can beat anybody, that's what makes it fun too. But I mean, looking at that, like I said, you can make cases for just about any of those teams being in the top 3, top 2, top 1 even.
That's what makes it awesome, though.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said too, you don't want to put too much weight into it, and people also sometimes forget it's fine. You can get positive things out of a loss too. There are good things that come out of a loss, and for a young Liberty team heading into tournament time, this might turn out to be one of the best things to happen to them, finding a chink in their armor that they can shore up, that Coach Watson can look at and say, okay, we need to do better at this in practice. That has become clear now.
Sometimes it's a lot easier to hear a coach's lesson after it bites you in the butt. So maybe Coach Watson comes in and says, I told you guys, you cannot come into a game with low energy. I kept telling you, you wouldn't listen. You struggled with Crestview. You got to come out hot. And then they came out kind of flat against Brookfield. And the Warriors made them pay. They were up by as much as 15 in this game. And Liberty came back. They came back pretty well. But you take away that slow start, maybe Liberty wins this game. Maybe they're still number one in the power ranking.
There's definitely learning experiences to come out of losses too, and the best teams will be able to adjust, and I think Liberty will have no issue in doing that. But albeit good, congrats to Brookfield. We'll be looking forward to just about 20 minutes talking with Coach Forsyth.
And the thing about Liberty also, as far as we talk about the power rankings, I feel like Liberty was kind of like that mid-major in college football that finally got their shot to be like taken seriously with the quote-unquote big teams, and now they lost. So it's going to be like, okay, well, they were posers. They'll be stuck in the 5-6 hole for the rest of the season. And that, not that I agree with that, but I think that's the way it's going to shape up. The way that that's just how it feels to me. Like they got in the one spot because they deserved to get in the one spot for this week, and it was like, go prove it. And then Brookfield beats them, and now they're probably going to be scratching the top 5 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, unless something miraculous where they blow Garfield out of the water in the second.
I don't know what that would do for. Like, I don't know if that would do it for them. I think they could beat Garfield by like 30, and people would still vote them 5.
Well, I mean, that's just the mark of the votes that happen.
I know.
Everyone gets a vote, and that's the beautiful thing too. It's not one person that's deciding the power rankings. It's a multitude of people. So
that's what I love about it.
So I mean,
that's what leads to the debates. That's what leads to the conversations, and that's what the power rankings are all for. Just leading to great conversations and more really what it is more talk about these kids, like getting these kids talked about more. So because of these power rankings, and like it or not, Liberty was talked about more this week than they probably would have been without the power rankings.
Yeah, and I mean that's what we love to do is just get names swirling.
So the final score last night in that game was 53-46. Liberty gets the win by 7, and they move on to the rest of their schedule. And you'll look at it, their next game is Crestview away on Monday. Then they have LeBray. They still have 2 matchups with Champion. They're going to play South Range and Berkshire before they end the season. So those are 2 non-conference games that they'll battle out before tournament. So Brookfield still got a lot of tests ahead of them.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and it'll be interesting to see how the season winds down.
And it's not on this schedule, but I don't think they've played Garfield twice yet.
I don't believe so either.
They should have to play Garfield again. It's not on the schedule that I'm looking at, but they should also have to play Garfield again. So they still have 2 matchups with Champion and 1 matchup with Garfield left on their league slate, along with Crestview, LeBray, and Newton Falls. So a lot of tests still remain for Brookfield, but that win, made it so they're right in striking distance. If Liberty stumbles somewhere else, they can jump into that top spot of the MVAC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's almost wide open right now. And I mean, it all of a sudden puts a jolt of energy in a couple other teams in that gray side of the MVAC, giving them hope to take it. I'll tell you one score though that another team that didn't put any hope in the other side of the MVAC.
I think they put some. Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about the other upset? Do you want to just jump into the 2 upsets?
We could jump into the other upset first.
Yeah, let's just go. I mean, we have to lead because these were the biggest 2 scores of the night. This one was the one that came out of left field, in my opinion. Struthers comes into the field house and beats Poland. First time that Poland has lost in the Uni 8 to anybody not named South Range. And they've only lost South Range once since the dawn of the Uni 8. So big win for Struthers. Faced Talato. Did not hit a shot the whole game. Hit 2 3-pointers in the 4th quarter, including one with 5 seconds left on the clock to initially win the game 50-49 over the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a huge win for Struthers inside the NE8 because that all of a sudden throws a huge wrench, I think, in everything for NE8 play because now all of a sudden you could be talking next time Poland South Range meet up. That could be NE8 championship on the line in that one. And don't forget that this is a Struthers Lady Wildcats team that is also 3rd in the NE8. Now, albeit they have 3 losses, though, but we were saying these are Wildcats that are wild cards inside that conference. And the biggest thing with Struthers overall is that they can beat anybody in this conference. South Range to Poland to anybody in the Northeast 8. Struthers can beat anybody on any given night because it's a well-coached team. They play in one of the most beautiful field houses in the entire area, the historic Struthers Field House, and they have a pretty good coach in Coach Nieder coaching them too. So it's a basketball community that knows how to win and knows how to be successful, and no doubt in this case you can't ever count out the Lady Wildcats on any night.
Chloe Nieder led the Wildcats with 21 points. Big night for her. They were a little bit more balanced. Connie Kugris had a big night with 20. Morgan Kluchar had 11, but you look at Struthers, I think they had 7 people score. They were the more balanced team. Their offense never quit. You look at the first matchup, it was 51-34 Poland. So Struthers' defense didn't do anything better or worse. They kind of gave up the same amount of points. Their offense is what really made the adjustments and were able to score and not turn the ball over against this zone trap defense of Poland. And in fact, that last shot came against that trap defense. Poland a little bit overcommitted, and Struthers did a really good job finding Face Delato in the wing wide open. Abby Farber just didn't get over in time, wide open 3, and boom, right there.
And Coach does a great job too. Coach Nieder did a great job of coaching these girls to play against Nick Blanche style defense. That he coaches those girls very well on the defensive end too, and he got the adjustments. Coach Nieder did, talking about the Lady Wildcats. He had them make the adjustments to be able to keep up with Poland's offense too, the balanced scoring of offense, and they were able to find some of the other girls too, those other names, those other bigger role players on the team this year to come up with some big shots, and those big shots made the difference in this one.
This win sets up a monster game on Monday. Not only is it rematch between Poland and South Range, but now it is for the lone spot in the top of the NE8, because Poland and South Range now both with 1 loss in the league. It is not for a tie. It is not for a two-game lead. It is straight up winner takes top spot.
And don't forget, too, South Range still has to play Struthers one other time, too. And that was only a 5-point game last time the Lady Wildcats and Lady Raiders matched up. So Struthers right now has all the confidence in the world. They only have 3 losses in the NE8, albeit they need a little bit of things to happen, but they're still in the mix of it, and they're the only other team that's still in conversation, I think, right now with that 3rd spot in the NE8. They're thinking, hey, we beat South Range. We just need someone to slip up somewhere then.
Yeah, they would need Poland to lose again.
If Poland loses to South Range and they beat South Range, then you just need some slip-ups to happen.
Yeah, you need another slip-up. You need someone else to beat Poland, too.
Very well could happen, too, in the year.
You sound like JP from Angels in the Outfield. It could happen.
It absolutely could happen in this.
I think it's great. This is going to be a great game. Last time we saw it, it was a 1-point win for Poland and South Range, and everything's on the line. I told Coach Fischel right after the game, "Oh my gosh, Poland just lost," and his response, "Great, now they're going to be pissed off." So, that's how he handles it. So, hey, we'll see how that goes. It's going to be tough to have Poland lose twice in a row.
It would be, and that's going to be an interesting game too. And 2 losses in a row, you can for a younger team too, and a team that like Coach Blanche has consistently said doesn't have that big name that you could kind of turn to for scoring. Some teams, this is a fork in a road too. You lose 2 in a row like that after having a successful season, panic can start to set in. But Coach Blanche, you would think has these girls ready too. But hey, we know for every young team, there's this kind of fork in the road too of how do you adjust? How do you react after kind of getting smacked around a little bit after you didn't expect to? This was one you probably expected going in to win.
Well, yeah, when you win the first one by 17.
Yep. You think you have this one well in hand, but that just goes to show, especially in that conference, anybody can beat anybody.
Another cold reminder that you have to show up every night, and if you don't,
props to the Lady Wildcats too. Yeah, 9-7 this season, and looking really good. 7 wins inside that conference, and they've beaten some good teams. That team's getting stronger as the season goes along.
Chloe Nieder went 11 of 14 from the free throw line.
That's incredible shooting too. When you're making it up too at the stripe like that, you could beat a lot of teams.
Poland and Liberty were not the only 2 conference leaders that were in action. Waterloo took a hard challenge against Western Reserve. Difference is Waterloo was up for it. They won a very close game, 39-34. Ty, you were there. Take us through this game, what you saw, what Waterloo did so well, and how they were able to hold off the Blue Devils.
I mean, honestly, in this game, it was kind of your old school defensive battle right out of the gates. Both teams were just trying to play very tough defense. Waterloo jumped them 10-2 to start in a 10-2 run. But as so many times Coach Miller has done throughout his career with his teams, he gets his girls to buy in, and he gets his girls to never say quit and never say die attitude. And what you saw on 3 separate occasions in the first, the third, and the fourth quarter is that Waterloo was up in the neighborhood of 8+ points, as much as 11, I believe, at one point in this game. And 3 separate times did Coach Miller and these Lady Blue Devils, under the pressure too that was being put on them by Waterloo's defense, they were putting the pressure back on them. But Brooke Shantz was showing to be a leader too on the court, as she was coming up with some big points. 13 she scored on the night, as well as Western Reserve 3 separate times was able to battle back into it and bring it back to just a single possession game. And that's the mark of great teams too, and good coach teams, as Coach Miller has done over there with the Lady Blue Devils. Gets his girls ready for each matchup too, and they never say quit until that clock reaches triple zeros. But credit to Coach Longenecker and those Lady Vikings, because they have showed all season long, is that they are so tough to score against. And when they get rolling, and they have game faces that they put on. And Kara English, another one of those big dogs, took over in the fourth quarter when they were bringing doubles and triples her way, trapping her every second they could in the first 3 quarters. She found a way to get loose and started making her name in that box score. 13 points she scored for the night, and it was all in an effort to get that second win over Western Reserve, 39-34, and it keeps Waterloo sitting pretty on that scarlet side of the MVAC, as they're still leading it as far as right now. And the other 2 teams right now, you got Springfield and you got Jackson Milton sitting there with 2 losses. You don't want to say have taken Western Reserve out of the conversation, but they definitely put them in a hole that's going to be very, very tough to come out.
That hurts. Now they need Waterloo to kind of lose twice to Jackson Milton and lose to Springfield, and then they have to hope that one of those other teams, that Jackson Milton and Springfield, maybe beat each other and some craziness happens. But you know what? Steve Miller has said it before. And I don't know if he was just saying it because it was the situation they were in, or if he was like really being totally serious. He said the league wasn't really a priority. He wants a district championship. So I think he would trade losing the league if it got him ready.
Absolutely. And it's not a huge thing for these girls, but you know that they came in, they wanted this win. They wanted to prove that they could beat Waterloo. And Shantz looked phenomenal last night too.
Waterloo's a different story. They want this league. Like, they haven't gotten this league. I think everyone outside of McDonald and Western Reserve is hungry for a league championship, because obviously it's been owned by Western Reserve and McDonald for the last 4 years.
And Atwater, Ohio, as much as I do, and you've taken trips up there, that's a school that loves basketball, both on the boys and the girls side. They eat, sleep, and breathe basketball, it seems like, up there in Atwater, Ohio. And this would be absolutely huge for the community. The community wants it. These girls want it. And Coach Longenecker, and just props to the Lady Vikings on another close win and sealing this one.
You had a chance to catch up with Coach Longenecker and Kara English after the game. Let's hear what they had to say in their post-game press conferences with you.
Welcome back, everyone, and as I am here with Coach Longenecker of the Waterloo Lady Vikings as part of a 39-34 victory. Coach, first question I want to talk to you about. Talk to me a little bit about just the defensive pressure that they were bringing in this game and how you guys were able to handle it at points, and what were they doing so well that was giving you some trouble at points in the game as well?
Well, they definitely paid close attention to Kara right out of the gate, and Rose as well. And, they tried to make other people do things. And I thought at times other people did do things for us. But Kara and Rose both were able to shake free and do some things. But, credit Western Reserve. They did a great job defensively on them. And I think we only scored 1 point in the third quarter, actually. And then, started the fourth with a spurt. But, they did a good job. And we've been talking about, we know the second trip through the league is going to be a meat grinder, and just proved it.
Talking about that in-between quarter talks that you had to have with your team after the third,
What do you kind of say to your team to keep that confidence level up? Because we know in this game, momentum can swing like a pendulum, and especially after a quarter like that, you can see a big swing. So what's kind of the discussions like with the team in between quarters there?
Well, what I love about this group is I think we stay even keel. There's not a panic there, and we just talked about what we needed to do, which was some better possessions, take care of the basketball a little bit, help each other, communicate, and I think we just we stood a little bit. Credit Western Reserve for that in the third quarter, yeah, that's what this is a fun group because we talk about finding a way, and a lot of times this year we've been able to do that, and so I wish I could say I had a magic potion and wave something, but honestly, we talk about who we are, and these kids, we've looked to find a way, and a couple kids really stepped up big. Kara, obviously, the star of the fourth.
Talking about Kara too, I mean, despite various double, triple teams trapping her at every corner, still able to get loose for 13 points. When you have a player that is so good at offense that can just buy you buckets when you need them down in crunch time, how important is that for a team like this? And how influential is she down the stretch when you need those big buckets that she's able to have that confidence to take them?
I mean, she's confident. She's a hard guard for multiple people, and she's special. I've been saying that Kara she's a special athlete, a special talent. To be blessed to coach somebody like that in your career is pretty neat, and we've got some great pieces around that, and but yeah, Kara gets a look in her eye at times, and it's pretty hard to stop.
And like I said put her game face on, and she certainly did in that fourth quarter. But I mean, just looking at this, just some balanced scoring all around. Another player I kind of want to hint at too, Lily Foster too, putting up 9 points too, 3 of them triples from behind the arc. When you're having other players too, we know Couts and we know English, the big names for this group, but there's a lot of talent within this group too. And when she was kind of your Kickstarter in that first quarter, you guys took that lead in the first, and you never looked back from it. How big is she and these other players in getting this engine to really go when they're scouting Kara, they're scouting Rhodes and trying to slow those two down?
Well, the last couple games, Abby stepped up. It's big at Mogador and hit a shot or two tonight as well. And yes, Lily is starting to pick up that mojo too. And the more that this happens, the better I think we're going to be, because we get balance, and so if you start keying on some things, we got some other kids that are going to knock down some shots, and I'm just happy for them because they are really starting to see that, and Abby Mays are starting to see that, and so that's fun. That's fun.
You got a fun group of young girls here, and then they're doing impressive things, and they continue to impress game by game. Final question for you, Coach, before we let you go. Just preview this next game against Akron Firestone for me coming up on Saturday. What is it going to take for you to continue to keep this ball rolling?
Well, I'll be a smart aleck and say we got to score more points than them, but I'm going to be dead honest. I don't know a lot about them yet. I got tape waiting, but our mantra has been next up, and next up for the last several days has been Western Reserve. I know Firestone is athletic, and the city schools. That's why we like to play them. It gives us a different look, and I'm sure we'll be tested there. And just to be honest, maybe some people cringe when they hear that, but I got to go home tonight and start prepping for Firestone. So.
We love to hear it, though, Coach. And I mean, you get your girls absolutely ready for each matchup, and I have no doubt in my mind they'll be ready come Saturday. You can catch the Waterloo Lady Vikings out at Akron Firestone, 12 p.m. start time for that one. Coach Longenecker, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am here with tonight's player of the game. Kara English is a part of the 39-34 victory over Western Reserve for the Lady Vikings. Kara had 13 points on the night. Talk to me a little bit about that second half adjustment and just what you guys were talking about in that halftime after Western Reserve was able to close out that lead a little bit.
Yeah, we talked and we knew that our defense had to be better. We had to stay together. We couldn't let them get the drives like they started to get towards the end of the first half. So once we fixed that, it started working a lot better, and we got a few runs.
Talk to me about the defensive pressure that you had to battle through today and how you were able to find success through, it seems like, various double and triple teams tonight.
Yeah, I mean, once we play all the teams twice in the league, you kind of know it's coming. So
bringing that kind of defensive pressure too is a big part of this team's play. Talk to me a little bit about what Coach L was just talking to you about on the sidelines when the various times that they were cutting your lead. You guys were up by 8, 9, 10 various times, and they've cut it back down to 4, 3 at times. How were you guys able to stay composed and keep building on that lead and never really falter and let them take over?
I mean, he just told us to keep focusing, keep playing how we know how to play, and then he really calms us down a lot.
Talking about the role players on this team, it seems like you guys move the ball so extraordinarily well. How big are these other players, such as your Lily Fosters and your Abby Mazurs, when they're able to connect from those deep shots? How much better does this offense really work?
It helps us a lot when we have everybody making shots and we're connecting the passes with each other, and it just really, once we start connecting, we take off.
We need to talk about that fourth quarter, too, because game face seems like it got on, too, in that fourth quarter. I know Brooke Shantz had game face on, too, at some point, but it looks like you were really – this game meant a little bit more to you, too, in that fourth quarter. Was it something just down low, too? What was it that finally got you into that next gear and really kicked you into focus?
I mean, I kind of told myself that in the third quarter, we're not going to lose, and we can lose. So.
And you certainly made sure that you did 13 points on the night. Kara English responsible for the Lady Vikings as part of a 39-34 victory. Kara, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
A big win for Waterloo over Western Reserve last night. That was Coach Lagenecker and Kara English after their win, talking with you, Ty Bartel. A wonderful job with the post-game press conferences. And now we are joined by someone else that might have had a big win last night. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit
of a big win. We're going to be joined by coach of the Brookfield Warriors, Ken Forsyth. Coach, how are we feeling?
Good, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Not as good as you. And what a win last night. Go through it. Talk about what the game plan was and how well your girls executed it.
Maybe our game plan going in was just kind of outwork them. And, that's what we've been trying to, just the last couple of weeks, trying to get back to. We were kind of just playing mediocre, we thought. And, we just kept on telling them we got to get back to hard work. And that was our game plan going into last night. I mean, they're a very well-coached team. They're a good team. They get after it. And, you want to beat a team like that, you got to outwork them. And that's what we did last night.
Coach, just looking at that last game, obviously it was that buzzer beater that Liberty was able to get over you in the last time. Talk about the adjustments that you guys looked at from that game going into this one, and did you make any, and were there any key things that you were really looking at going into this game?
Yeah, the first game we didn't get back very well on defense, and the Foster girl got loose a couple times against us the first game, and we kind of limited that yesterday, and that was our goal. Smith, she had a couple bombs last night, and I mean sometimes you got to live and die with that because them are 50-50 balls in my opinion. You got to let her shoot them, but pretty good at it. So sometimes you got to let her shoot them, and if she makes them, you got to adjust to it. But again, the big part of it was we rebounded better, we got better at defensively, and that we stopped their transition.
When you look at some of the things down the stretch, I mean, I think even though when you had a big lead, you had to know Liberty was going to make a comeback attempt. How were you guys able to hold your ground and kind of stay composed when they started to hit some shots in the fourth quarter and make it a little bit close?
I mean, it was just, they hit some big shots, and it was, our girls have been through this. They're battle tested, and it's, they didn't lose composure, and we stuck with it, and we handled their press, and that's what they're looking to do. They're looking to just kind of, make you make mistakes. And, the seniors and juniors I have that's been through this for 2-3 years, they're getting better at it. And we're able to, get through that.
Coach, just talk a little bit about the basketball IQ of this team, because it seems like this team is very attention to detail oriented, and they know the adjustments they need to make, and they pay close attention to that. Is that something you constantly work with the girls? And just talk a little bit about this group of girls you have and how close they pay attention to that kind of detail.
Yeah, they're really, you get to go really, really into detail with them, and they'll follow it to a T. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're robots sometimes, and that's a bad thing too, because, It's like we tell them to run something or do something, and it's like instead of just going to be an athlete or a basketball player, it's the good and bad with it. But they're very well to detail. My assistant coach Chris Fondrick did a great job of just getting them prepared defensively and offensively because he watches a lot of film for me. But you know what I mean, and he broke some things down and noticed some things. As a veteran coach as he is, and he got them looking at the same thing, and we watched a lot of film on him. So I mean, it was a good win, and it's against a great team.
Coach, this is a big win, but there's still a lot in front of you. You still got Champion again. You still have Garfield. You still have a couple of non-conference matchups that are going to be big for you guys. How do you kind of stay even after this big win and not get too content or too high and try to ride that roller coaster a little bit?
I mean, and it's like I told the girls, we haven't seen LeBray yet. We haven't seen Champion yet. I think we're gonna have LeBray twice next week, which will be huge. We have not seen Champion yet. We got them coming up, I think, within twice in a 7-day period. And we got Garfield again. But my message today is, we got Newton Falls tomorrow at home, and it's senior day, and it's we got to get refocused. You got to enjoy last night, but it's time to get let's get back to the next day. And that's what we've been kind of talking about is one day at a time, and today's a different day, and tomorrow is a whole nother animal with Newton Falls, who's they've been shut down, and I'm sure they're going to be ready to go because Coach Baker does a great job out there. But we got to be ready every night because we're going to see everybody's best shot.
The upperclassmen and the big names always seem to shine bright too on the big nights with the hooks and runes. But a lot of coaches know the role players, when they step up, they can make certain teams seem unbeatable. Talk to me about some of your role players on this team that have really stepped up over the course of the season and really have helped lead this team to this early season success.
Mackenzie Jumper stepped up in the last probably week and a half. It's huge. I mean, she's been great on defense for us. She's been looking to shoot the ball a little bit better, and she's been a huge asset for us. Abby DeJoy played a great role last night for us. Came in and scored 5 great points for us. Had a couple key rebounds and she didn't falter under pressure because we were in a little bit of foul trouble. Katie Gibson, I wish I had 15 Katie Gibsons. If I actually go run through a brick wall for me, she's gonna find a way to get through that brick wall. And she's another one defensively. You ain't gonna find a better defender in my opinion. And offensively, she knows her role and she takes care of the ball. Kaylee Wellman is a sophomore. She played a great game last night, and she's coming a long way. From a freshman year that she wasn't satisfied with. She put a lot of time in this summer. And one that didn't play last night that it's just slowly coming back is Katie Logan. And once we get her back, it's we got another piece of that puzzle. And I'm hoping within the next week or two she's back to normal and she can start playing a bigger role for us.
Coach, when we were looking at the stats last night between these two teams and the season stats, and it's pretty even. One of the big advantages you had was rebounding. How much of an emphasis did you put on rebounding, not just last night, but this whole year? And how well did your girls really attack the boards last night against Liberty?
We focused on that, and it was a defensive rebound that's always kills because we are every time we go on the floor, we're 90% of the time we're going to be a smaller team. And that's where we got to come in. We got to outwork our opponent, and the heart of our, we got to have some heart, and it takes effort. And that's what we preach every day is effort and just play hard.
You mentioned the fact that you got Newton Falls coming up on a senior night too. Just go ahead and talk a little bit about what the senior night is going to mean now that crowds are back in full effect. What it's going to mean for these girls to have a little bit more normal senior night, and also kind of give us what the game plan is going into Newton Falls to get prepared for the Tigers.
I mean, it's huge because Anna Reichert and Audrey Reardon and Reese Nell have been with me for 4 years. My first year was their freshman year, and it's these three got a special place in my heart, and they always will. And it's they've been through a lot, and it's gonna be memorable for them. And they're a great group. They're 3 great girls. I wish I wish them nothing but the best, and that's gonna be hopefully we come out on a high note for them tomorrow. Newton Falls, it's Coach Baker does a great job. He got a young team, but he's gonna coach them up. We're going to probably see a 2-3 zone, and they're going to run a little bit of dribble drive on offense, and it's just we got to be ready for it. We got to be able to handle 2-3, and we got to be able to stop that dribble drive from penetration, and we'll be okay. But it's going to take some work.
All right, Coach. What do you think practice is going to be like? The first practice after a big win like this. I know there's going to be a lot of celebration, and talk about.
Want me to be honest with you?
Yeah, be honest with me.
My practice today is going to be about 20 minutes. All right, we're going to walk through falls, and I'm getting them out of there. We've had honestly, you guys, and we didn't play Monday. You know what I mean? We've been practicing too much, and it's going to be fun for them. And I told these girls, I said, we're going to be about 20 minutes. We're going to talk falls, 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe, talk falls. And I'm going to bring them in early tomorrow. We're going to do some shooting and stuff. It's Friday, and I don't like practicing on Fridays, and they know that. And it's like I said, it's going to be a short, sweet one today.
Can you take an opportunity like that to celebrate last night's win and just kind of have
maybe we're gonna talk about it a little bit, and it's gonna be mostly about hey, I'm proud of Yns, but it's a new day now.
Right.
That bullet that there's gonna be a little bullseye on us now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Especially going into the district draw next week and things like that. So we got to be ready. We can't just let a slip up happen and go from there.
Talking about your team, though, Coach, another one that we like to bring up last year is Crestview. Crestview was that monkey on your back the 2 times last year, and you guys made the adjustment and were able to knock them off in the tournament come tournament time. Looking at this team, just talk to me a little bit about just final question, too, for you, Coach, about just the resiliency of this team, as well as what a win like this is going to do that you think momentum-wise for the second half of the season.
Well, I'll tell you a story, and it goes with last night. We were supposed to be WKBN's game of the week last week, and they bumped us off Monday because there was a snow day, and I think Grove City College and Westminster was. Well, going in thinking we were the game of the week last week, I texted my wife. I said, I hope we come out and compete. I said we might need, my stepdaughter has been at every game we've won. There's a lady in Brookfield that's was with us last year that. The boys coach calls her lucky charm. So she started coming to our games, and we went on a little run last year with her at games. I said, I'm going to need them too, and I'm going to need the Pope there to get by Liberty. You know what I mean? Then we find out we're not game of the week. And, my stepdaughter was at the game last night. Our friend was at the game. We call her lucky charm, was at the game. So then, about middle of the second quarter of the JV game, I see Anna Riker. She goes, I got to go get something off your wife. She comes back with this bag, and I'm thinking to myself, what's in this bag? I go in there. There's a little statue of the Pope, and it says "Go Lady Warriors." So you know what I mean. And I walk in and I'm laughing because the girls are, it's a big joke in our locker room. You know what I mean. And they didn't even know I told my wife this. My wife had planned this, and it was awesome. You know what I mean. So that goes a long way. You know what I mean? And maybe that's something we carry on the rest of the year, that, these 3 people at every game, and maybe that's what we got to build on. I don't know. It's not. So
save a spot for him on the bench.
Yeah. They asked to bring him on the bench. I said, no, we're not doing that. Leave him. I don't need that. I don't need that on me.
Well, Coach, you were definitely one of the gamers of the week on YSN. We had you covered, and what a great game it was. Congratulations on the win. And we look forward to continued success of this program and talking to you again real soon.
I appreciate everything you guys do, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach, for coming on. Coach Forsyth, what a win for him last night. And, I mean, you could see the excitement is definitely swirling in that Brookfield community.
We learned the secret. He had the Pope.
He had the Pope with him. That's fantastic.
I love it. Oh, wow.
But no, I mean, all the credit to, like you said, that experienced Brookfield team. They did a great job. DJ Folkley coming on.
It's a big win for Struthers too, and we're gonna have Coach Nieder on in a little bit to talk about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have Coach Nieder come on to talk about it. Just about 15 minutes away from Coach Nieder coming on at 1:00, so we're gonna be excited to talk with him in that big win over Poland last night.
Let's get through some more recaps before we get there. I was in South Range, and the Raiders, they got the win to set up this big NE8 battle on Monday, but it was tough. Lakeview fought them tooth and nail. Every time the Raiders looked like they were going to run away with the game, they got maybe a 7 or 8 point lead. Boom, here comes Lakeview with maybe a little 5-0 run or a 6-0 run to cut it down, and they wouldn't go away. South Range held on for the win, 35-33, but Coach Fishel had some high praise for Lakeview after the game in his post-game press conference. Let's hear what he and player of the game Emma Cunningham had to say. Anthony Hartwig with the always great dress Jeff Fischel after South Range's 35-33 win over Lakeview. Coach, another close win in the league. You guys make game-winning plays down the stretch. Talk about this one and what you saw from your team.
Yeah, just excited. It's important to defend our home court and keep pace with Poland in the league. We talked to the girls before the game that Monday night again Poland didn't matter if we didn't take care of business tonight. And give credit to Lakeview. Coach Haney's a great coach, and he always has them prepared, and they play so hard. And tonight was another one of those close games in the league where our leadership really stepped up late. We made some smart plays and some good basketball plays that enabled us to finish that thing out.
And take a second to talk about Lakeview. This is a different team than the one that you've played in years past. They fought you tooth and nail. They never really quit in this game and pushed you to the end.
Well, again, Coach Haney always has his teams prepared. And anytime you have a Maggie Pavlansky on your team, you have a chance to win. I don't care who you play because she's such a competitor and she makes her teammates so much better. So, they're a battle, and every team in this league is a battle. And that's why we love being a part of this league. And that's why we know we have to show up every night. And you look at the scores across the league night in and night out, there are so many close games that come down to the end of the fourth quarter. So it's a fun league to play in, and it's exciting basketball for the area to watch.
We talked this week. You said one of the mottos going forward for this team was shoot the dang ball. Sour Wine comes out early, hits 2 threes in the first quarter, really sets the tone for your offense, and everyone else kind of felt like it was okay to be aggressive with the shooting. What did that mean to you?
That's been our message, and we continue to try to make that message build and have girls buy into it. And so tonight was probably our overall most balanced scoring night. And we know that Lexi's going to get face guarded and box and one, and they're going to put 2 girls on her, and then they're going to try to take her away. And we're not going to be successful if we don't find some other girls who can score the ball. And, we had a couple girls, we had huge baskets. Devin played great. Emmett had some huge baskets. Mallory attacked, our sophomores came in and attacked and, just did a great job tonight. So we have to find offense from other places. And, when Devin hits a couple shots, it just kind of sets the stage for everybody else.
Emma Cunningham won the player of the game tonight, 11 points to lead you guys. Big night for her. I know you've been trying to build her confidence all season. What's a game like this mean to her going forward?
Well, she's fun to watch. I mean, she had so many deflections at the top of our press. She gave them fits trying to get the ball across half court. So that's where her game comes from. When she can do that, then she gets her confidence full court. And she had a great night. Really kind of got into that attack mode a little bit because we've been talking to her about it because she's so good. And as soon as that switch flips for her, when she realizes that, she's going to have a bright future for us. We're excited about it, and she's a great team player.
All right, finally get to talk about it, this rematch with Poland. Everything's on the line now. You both have one loss in the league after tonight's results. What's it going to take for this team to go into Poland, get the win, and take first place in the NE8?
Well, we're going to have to play really well. We're really going to have to limit our mistakes and handle their pressure. And in Poland, they're just notorious for pressuring at the right times, and it's relentless for 4 quarters. And you may have a little bit of success against it here, and then you get comfortable, and boom, they go on a 10-0 run, and you can't recover from that. So we're going to have to play really probably our cleanest game of the year. We're going to have to make some shots. We're really, really going to have to get on after it on defense, try to force them to turn it over, and hopefully get a hand in their face and have them miss some shots, and hope maybe they're just a little bit off and we're on, and maybe a little prayer to the heavens, and anything we can get on our side, we'll take, because, Coach Blanche, so much respect for him and how they do things. And, we know the battle that's ahead of us Monday, but golly, is it exciting. It's exciting.
Here it was a 1-point game last time you played. How much will you watch that game, and how much do you think these two teams have changed since then, and you'll have to throw that game out? What percentage would you say is that game learning from that game, and then learning that these two teams have changed since that point?
I wish I knew what Coach Blanche answered to that question before I answer it, but I don't. And, so I'm going to say 0% because they've changed, we've changed, and still they play their style and we play our style. So some of it, probably is going to look the same, but the way they adapt and the way we adapt, we know each other so well that, I think we're going to see a lot of new things from both teams. And, we're going to dive into that film and try to figure out what didn't work and fix it, and what did work, and know that they're going to try to fix that. So we're going to have to counter that. So it'll be interesting chess match, and, again, always exciting.
All right, Coach, excited to see it. Good luck on that, and congratulations on the win.
World looks better in burgundy and gold, Anthony. Thanks, brother.
Anthony Hartley here with tonight's Kodiak Electric Player of the Game, Emma Cunningham, after South Range's 35-33 win over Lakeview. Emma, it wasn't easy. They pushed you, but you came out with another league win.
Oh, yeah, it felt good to win, especially in such a close competitive game. And to come out on top was really, really good.
You were able to turn a lot of defense into offense and got to see some shots get into the bucket. How's that feel for you?
It feels really good. I think finally I let my defense turn into offense, and I got some easy layups, easy buckets. And my motto is you win it on defense, you don't win it on offense. So.
When you get those early buckets in the game, you made a few early. How much does that help your confidence?
A lot. It feels really good to have some points on my back. And I've missed a few early on in other games, but to have some, to make some earlier, it really boosts my confidence.
Not just you, but everyone on the team. When you can score and kind of help Lexi out a little bit, who's getting so much defensive attention, what does that mean to you guys trying to help out your leader?
So when we get Lexi open and try to get her the ball, she's taking players, she's letting us score. So it's like a team thing. Even though she's taken away, it's giving other players other opportunities. And when we get her the ball, she scores every time. So it's a win-win for us.
This win sets up a big opportunity on Monday.
Oh, yeah, we're very excited.
It's Poland. It's NE8 on the line.
Yeah.
What's it going to take for you guys to go into Poland and get the victory?
I think defense is going to get us the win. Shutting them down, keeping them under 30. I think that's going to be our victory. It's going to be our win.
All right, Emma, good luck on that, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
That was Coach Fishel, always the best dressed coach in the area with his wonderful color-coordinated suits. Ty, you said it looks like a hot dog. I don't know. What.
The hot dog look.
The hot dog look.
Looks like hot dog. You got the line of mustard going down the side.
Right
Yeah.
there.
The hot dog look. I like it.
Hopefully your buns aren't yellow. Because, and that would be, or I should say gold. It's burgundy and gold. So hopefully your buns aren't gold.
I'm not going to. No comment.
That's South Range head coach Jeff Fishel and Emma Cunningham, the player of the game from last night's win over Lakeview. DJ Folkley, he's back.
Might rain today.
So now that we look ahead and we continue with our recaps and our scores, let's look at what happened last night other than these big wins that we've been talking about. Ty, it was Hubbard that got the 43-26 win over Niles, and it was a 31-9 game at the half. Anthony Roma got the chance to catch up with interim head coach Caesar and Elena Grillis after the game, after the win against Niles. Let's hear what they had to say.
Anthony Roma here with Hubbard coach Ryan Caesar after the Eagles' 43-26 victory over Niles tonight. Coach, your girls shot a lot of free throws at the line tonight. Was it part of your game plan to attack the paint?
Yeah, absolutely. We preach all the time, get the ball into our bigs. Sophie Murphy, Phoebe Rusnak, Gabby Jones. We want to get the ball inside, and we did that tonight. And it paid off, obviously, with the amount of free throws that we got to shoot.
Eleni Grillis, 10 points for your team tonight, just 6 of 6 from the free throw line. How has she adapted to her starting role?
She's adapted great. She started out coming off the bench for us, and like you said, she came in and she embraced the starting role, and she's just a spark plug for us, man. She comes in, she gets us some points, she penetrates a lot, gets good shots up for us. She plays great D. She's real lengthy. She helps us out a lot.
Your team now 7-6 on this season. Just what are some improvements that your girls can take from this game?
Tonight we preach push the ball. We have a lot of quick athletic girls on our team, and we preach all year push the ball. Tonight we did that. We got a few looks, pushing the ball up the court, and that's something I thought we did the best all year tonight was pushing the ball.
Anthony Roma with Eleni Grillis, tonight's YSN player of the game after Hubbard's 43-26 victory over Niles. Eleni, 10 points on the night, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Just does coach really preach on you guys to make your shots at the line?
Yes, he really preaches on that stuff. We just have to get there and just do what we need to do on the line.
Your team now 7-6 on the season after tonight's win. Just what have you guys improved on over the offseason and this year from last year?
I feel like the shooting, coach just stresses shooting, and that's all we do at practice, and we're just getting there now.
It seems like this team has a lot of camaraderie. Just what do you guys do in your spare time to work on team bonding?
We either hang out at each other's houses or we go to eat after practice, just anything to get that team bonding in, because I think it's like a really good thing to get us all together.
That was interim head coach Ryan Caesar of Hubbard and Eleni Grillis after Hubbard's 43-26 win over Niles, and they got a lot of points from the free throw line, and they were able to succeed pretty well.
A win for interim head coach. I mean, maybe at this point you got to call it Caesar's Palace.
Hold on, Ty. We have a phone call.
There you go, Anthony.
Oh.
Wake yourself up again.
Why does that happen? I don't understand.
You're like a dog. It's going to keep training you until you eventually don't answer the phone. When will Anthony realize
I think
that phone up?
I think if I hit the button, I think if I turn the mic up before I hit the button, I think that's what does it. Oh, that hurt.
The more you know.
Oh, let's get to someone that we absolutely know won't have a high streaking noise at us. Head coach of the Struthers Lady Wildcats, Coach Nieder. Coach, how we feeling?
Feeling pretty good today.
I think so.
Coach, talk about just the game plan you guys had going into this one. We know Poland, obviously a tough team, a well-coached team. Just talk about the game plan going into this one after suffering 17-point defeat earlier in the season. What adjustments were made and how proud you must be of your girls right now.
Yeah, I mean, since that point, we really focus a lot on execution and taking care of the basketball. We took some positives from the first game that we played against them where, it was a 2-point game at halftime and they came out second half and kind of turned up the heat a little bit and we turned it over. So our pregame speech, coming in and over practice was take care of the basketball, be patient, don't hurry. And if we could take care of the basketball and then execute on offense, have good spacing and everything, then, that we felt we would have a chance to win the game at the end.
Coach, there was a lot that went into that win, but when you have a game-winning shot, it kind of boils down to that. A lot of people talk about that. Faith Stellato takes the shot. She came into the fourth quarter without scoring a point. She hit 2 threes in the fourth. Talk about her confidence and what the feeling was on the bench and as a coach when that shot goes up and you realize, oh, this is going in, and we have a lead with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, we a timeout about halfway through the fourth was talking a little bit with her, and hey, it's like, hey, keep shooting. Your next one's going to go in. Your next one's going to go in, and the first of the 2 threes that she hit, you could just tell as soon as it left her hand. And one thing about Faith is once she hits one, she normally doesn't miss her second or third one. So we kind of knew once we got her open. Once when she was open and the ball went up, and as soon as it went up in the air, you kind of knew that, that's going in. So, and she's a shooter, and she's definitely one that, once she gets going, she kind of keeps going a little bit, and she hit the shots right at the right time.
Win put you at 9-7 on the year, Coach, and you guys are looking really, really good here at the midway point of the season. One of the big leaders on the team, though, of course, Chloe Nieder as well, that is doing great things on the court. Another 20-point performance from her last night. Talk to me about how proud you must be and just the hard work that you've seen her put into the game and the success that she's getting from it now.
Yeah, Chloe's a hard worker. She puts a lot of time in. She puts a lot of extra time in. And time in the off season, and she's definitely one of our leaders on the team. And one of the things that really been working with her a little bit, is just not let kind of the emotions get to you a little bit. Stay under control. We play games. She definitely gets a lot of attention, a lot of double teams and everything. And I thought one of the things that she did yesterday was, she didn't turn the ball over when she got double trapped. We got the ball to the right spots and kind of got out of it. And, she's definitely, a key to our team, and and a leader, and then she's also finds different ways to score, whether it's at the free throw line, 3-pointer, or she's leading the team in assists or getting the ball to whoever's open for good shots.
Can you put into words how much this win means for a program like yours? I mean, Poland has been the top dog in the NE8 for since it started. You get the win, the first NE8 win for this program over Poland. What's it mean for this program, not just in the microcosm of now, but going forward as well?
Yeah, since joining the NE8, we've lost 8 times to them, 8 straight times. So, obviously it's a big win. It's a rival. 2018 was the last time that we beat them. But what else it means is, we talk about just getting in the gym every day, every practice, every game's an opportunity to get better. And, what we've been talking a lot about is we want to stay the course. I keep saying I like the direction we're going. I like the path we're going. Keep working. It's paying off. We're getting better and better as the season goes. So as you're doing that and preaching that, and now to beat one of the better teams in the area, it shows that your hard work's paying off. It's definitely a big confident booster, and just a good win for the program.
You guys keep battling Bulldogs as Lakeview's next up on the docket Monday. Coach, talk to me a little bit about what it's going to take to continue this success and get this program its 10th win on the season.
Yeah, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep getting better. And one of the things that we'll be talking about when we get back in the gym is not to let this last game be our season. We want to keep doing, stay on the path, keep going in the direction we're going, and keep working. Definitely going to go out there. It's always a battle playing out in Lakeview on their court. The Pavlinkas girl, she's tough. They got, they play hard. They get after you. And I seen they gave South Range a real good game yesterday. So, our thing is, hey, we got to get back to work and keep working.
And Coach, the tournament draw is in about a week. When you look at it and you look at getting this team ready for the tournament and trying to end on a high note, what are some things that you look at, as a team that you kind of want to improve on before that tournament starts?
We still, we just spent a lot of time on execution and limiting turnovers, and that's definitely something that we got to keep focusing on and keep working on. We got, just take care of the basketball and keeping our composure. So, I think the more we do that, the better we play. And the other part of that is just more consistently doing it. Throughout the season, there's quarters or times that we're doing that really well, and then it kind of goes away. And I think yesterday was one of the times you've seen 4 quarters, just consistent basketball from us.
Coach, since we're at kind of the midpoint of the season right now, we just want to do kind of like a little mid-season recap too. We know the big names of each team are the big names. They're going to score their points. They're going to get theirs. But we all know, coaches know too, the role players that step up are the ones that can really make good teams great and get them into that next level. Talk to me about some role players and some other new names that are into this program that you've been really impressed with midway through the season, whether it's the hard work they're putting on the court in any facet.
Both my seniors, Ella Croyle, she's an undersized big, and she works her butt off. She rebounds. She's physical. And really yesterday she got us off to a good start. I think Poland jumped out on us about 8-0, and she had a couple of big baskets there. Miley Gonda, one of the things she did, she hit a big 3 at the end of the quarter yesterday, and then at the end of the half, and then also had a big putback at the end of the third quarter, which was huge. The other players that we have that are really good role players is Carly Rhodes. Carly Rhodes, she comes off the bench. I thought she had a great game yesterday. She scored 0 points, but she played great. She rebounded, and she's a player that can really get after you. And she played great defense, and she took care of the basketball, didn't turn it over. And when she's on the court, she gives other people's fits. And Adriana Rudzik's another one. She comes off. She's like 5'4", but she rebounds, plays defense, and plays hard. And I got also Emma McConaughey. She's one of my starters. She hit a couple threes yesterday, but she's a skilled player that takes care of the basketball and does all the little things.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on such a big win.
Thank you.
We feel for you, and we feel the energy that you had in that game. We hope that it continues, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, Ty. What a great interview with two great coaches with two big wins today.
We love the fact that our coaches are able to come on such short notice too, and I mean, we're excited to talk to them, and it seems like they're excited to talk about it. So we love having our coaches on too, as both Brookfield and Struthers with the big wins last night over power ranked top 1 and 3 power ranked teams in YSN's power rankings.
All right, Jeff. I think I figured it out. So if you're still watching and you want to call back in, pretty sure I figured this thing out. I'm pretty sure if I don't turn the knob up before I hit the button, it won't, kill my ears. So we'll try to get you on.
Well, yeah, we'll be able to try at least. We'll hopefully be able to try. But
we still got some scores to get to as we continue on our recaps from last night. And we go to LeBray. They got the win 34-23 over Newton Falls. Big win for the Vikings. Garfield, they continue their upward trend. They win 57-19 over Camel. We go on to Champion, and they looked ever impressive as they beat the Golden Flashes by 31 points, 66. They beat the Rebels, of Crestview by 30. They'll beat themselves by 31. That'd be something else. They beat the Rebels of Crestview by 31 points, 66-35. Champion sending a message to the rest of the league. We're still here. We had a bad loss to Liberty, but we're still here. Waterloo, we already talked about. They got the 39-34 win over Western Reserve. Jackson Milton keeps pace. They get the 54-34 win over Lowville. McDonald gets the 54-24 win over Mineral Ridge. Lisbon, another big win for them. They keep racking them up. 41-40, they win over Latonia. And Columbiana on senior night gets the 35-19 win for the Clippers. It was a special night in Columbiana, and DJ Oakley got a chance to talk with Coach Chrisman and both their seniors after the game and some post-game press conferences. Let's hear what CEO DJ Oakley got out of these coaches and players. We love to hear from DJ.
All right, Tori, senior night, very special moment at the beginning of the game. Talk to me about what that was like for you.
It was bittersweet. I was nervous, obviously, so I just had to put the nerves behind me and just play how I knew how to play so I could get the win.
When you see Camille get that bucket at the beginning of the game right off the top, one of your good friends, what was that like?
Well, I was nervous for her because I didn't want her to miss. We had a long conversation about it, but honestly, I'm just so proud of her and happy that she could get that moment because she deserves it.
All right, there's a special moment between you and your sister talking about it. I don't want to get you emotional now, but to have Taylor say such nice things about you, probably never said before, ever, got you a little bit emotional before the game. Talk about how nice it's been to play with a sibling.
It's honestly like, I don't like. It's just, I don't know. I'm gonna get emotional, but it's a special feeling because you know that she'll always have your back more than anyone else.
All right, so then you get the win. Wasn't pretty, not the way that you necessarily drew it up, but you, just like much of your career, you've gritted your way through it. You guys are still in the race here with a big game against United coming up. How special is it to still be in the race this time of year, knowing that the tournament's around the corner, but you still have work to do?
Yeah, we just know that we're the underdog in this game, which lights a fire under our butt even more, and I just know how bad we want it, so we're going to prepare for it and just play our game.
All right, Camille, talk about the moment for you. It's been such a grind mentally, physically, and then to start the game off, you take the boot off, you go down, and you score a bucket to open up the game. What was that like?
It was amazing because my entire family showed up, even though before I came, we didn't know I was going to play at all. We thought I was just going to get my name called and walk out like senior night. But then coach surprised me with starting me and letting me make the first layup. And that was indescribable to do that in front of my class and my family. So it's just amazing for him to do that for us.
We talk about when you think about leadership at a 17, 18-year-old level, you think about on the floor. You've had to make the adjustment to being a leader in the locker room, on the bench, things of that nature. How's that transition been for you?
It's been hard because I'm used to being able to just like tell my teammates on the floor, like, hey, change this. Now I'm on the bench, not being able to like just run up to them and tell them. I have to scream across the floor and tell them, or wait till a timeout to tell them. And sometimes from the bench, you don't even know if they hear you. So that's the hardest part, really.
You already alluded to your family. I saw they showed up. They had pictures of you. They had all kinds of stuff. When you think about the support that you've had during this season and last season, does it make you emotional? Does it start getting you thinking about what could have been and what you've turned into and the great leader that you've become?
It does, because not only have I got from my family, but Columbiana School District is just one of the most amazing places I could ever imagine growing up in. And having to be able to have the coach, Dave Chrisman, is amazing. I'm so happy he came. He came my freshman year, so we're the first ones to get all 4 years with him. And I am just so grateful to have him. And my family is amazing, with my brother who just graduated 2 years ago, and everyone in my family who showed up tonight. It's just indescribable how much support I have.
All right, Coach, senior night here, a win overall, but an emotional night here as you shocked everybody with Camille getting a start and then a bucket. Talk to me about what went into that thought process and how emotional it was for you as a leader.
Well, when we had decided to do that, I mean, Camille has just been such a hard luck kid. I feel so bad for her because this is 2 years in a row, same foot. She goes down like that. And there's not a bigger heart on the team than hers. When she's playing, she's a cheerleader. I mean, she just deserved a little bit of limelight there tonight. And when we talked about that and told her, hey, we'd like to get you a bucket, the other coach was cool about it. It's like her face just lit up, you know. So it's probably the last point she'll score in her career, but it'll be a memorable one. So we were super excited for them. And then the other two, what can I say? I mean, Tori Long, you don't always get great athletes that can do so many different things. This kid is so good in every sport she plays. And as a freshman, she was a starter. I mean, it's just, can't replace her, but you know, we will do our best. But wanted to see her go out, and she had a nice game tonight. And then Cassie Spade for 2 years now has just filled a void that we needed filled. When we graduated the Maslovskis and the Hammonds and the Tringazy and the Mosiers and those kids, she stepped in and filled a void. So proud of all three of them. Hope the season gets even better.
And you're playing here, you're not playing just for fun. You guys are playing with a purpose. You got a big game coming up against United. What goes into games like that? Are you one of the ones that doesn't want to show too much on tape the game before, or was it just one of those sloppy games that you had to kind of get away from?
I was very concerned about tonight. One, we had a game last night. Two, you know, on a senior night, you just don't know the emotion you're going to get. And I've been around the block several times, and I know. And unfortunately, we come out and we were just not good in that first half. And so I had to express myself rather loudly at halftime to the girls, and I felt like they responded really well, especially defensively. And then we started getting some runouts and, you know, started rebounding the ball, and I just felt their intensity level went up twofold. So it's one of those games. I was just glad to get out with the win, and then we can get some prep in for a big game on Monday.
So when the snowball starts growing and growing as it goes downhill like that, what's going through your mind as a coach to stop it?
Well, first of all, you only get 5 timeouts, and I knew I could have used them all in the first quarter. And so I can't do that. So, you know, you're thinking in your mind, we just got to get through halftime so I can go in there. And then we got to go back to basics on the board. Why aren't we running this, and this like we've been doing all year? Fundamental breakdowns, you're out of control. And they knew it. And I felt like the seniors kind of chimed in some things and said, yeah, we're way better than this. And I thought, you know, not great in the second half, but much better than the first. And I can live with that on a senior night. So.
That was Coach Dave Chrisman and two out of three seniors for Columbiana, Tori Long and Camille Zettner, talking about senior night. And what a special moment to have Camille get that bucket. And like Coach Chrisman said, probably the last bucket of her high school career, but it'll be maybe the most memorable one as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's gonna be I'm looking at the one below that comp.
I know Jeff Collins, who, I think we're getting the ACC coaches just like profiles on Twitter because this is from YouTube, but Jeff Collins, the head coach of Georgia Tech. So,
yeah,
we've already had Narduzzi. Now we have Jeff Collins. So someone might know that I'm a Georgia Tech fan. They're trolling me hard. They're trolling me hard. Jeff Collins. And he even spelled it right with the G instead of the J.
Yeah, look at that. He's really he's on it though. I mean, he thinks he's really on Georgia Tech. I mean, I would hope he's really rooting for Georgia Tech getting 10 games this year.
He better. He better. Let's go. We lost like half of our team to transfers this year, but let's go. Best running back in the country statistically transferred out of our program, but let's go. I digress. We continue our previews, our recaps of last night's action. We go from Columbiana to, I think that was actually our last one. Excuse me. We're done with recaps. So now we get to talk about the future and a little bit of shakeup here. I mean, we already brought this up when we talked about what happened last night. But now let's look at these rankings again for girls basketball before we get into tonight's matchups for boys. And you'll look at this one, and you gotta think, Ty, in my humble opinion, and once again, I'm only one vote, but I got the winner of this West Branch Salem game on Saturday, right to one, in my opinion.
I think probably, yeah,
because Louisville has lost this week. They're 1-1 now on the week. They lost to on Tuesday. They lost to Perry, Maslin Perry, and then Wednesday they beat Warren Western Reserve Academy. So they didn't have a perfect week, so they can't move up to 1. So I really got to think, especially since Salem, that'll be their only game of the week. So if they win, they go right back to 1, and then if West Branch wins, they're good to go from 2 to 1.
Yeah, I would think that's probably the best call. I would think is the winner of that one again, because that's going to be a tough game too, for sure.
Howland's got a big game with Boardman on Saturday. They're already perfect on the week. So
I still think Louisville probably stays in the top 5, though. I would think.
You got it, because let's just go to, if Salem wins, then you have to wonder. Salem goes 1. Poland has to drop maybe 2 spots to 5. If you want to keep Louisville 4, then do you just drop West Branch 1 spot for losing to Salem since other teams lost 2 and put Liberty down in that 5 spot to replace, or do you drop Liberty to 6 to keep Poland in the top 5?
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Does Brookfield fit in here now after that?
Does Brookfield get back into it? See, that's, you look at the bottom of those, and it's like, where's room? Because Springfield got the win.
Waterloo had a perfect week to this point.
Canfield's steady. They have a game against Fitch. Garfield's perfect on the week.
Yeah.
Waterloo won. So it's like, where do you fit Brookfield? Does Brookfield fit in? Do they or do they just not fit in and say, good win, you're closer, but you're just not there yet?
I mean, that's going to be interesting too, because I could definitely see a case being made for Brookfield, certainly now.
Still big games on Saturday too that will have to happen for us to have this discussion. But on Monday, when these come off the oven, it's going to be very interesting to see where these teams end up. I think this is the funnest year of girls basketball that I've been a part of at YSN, because the last several years, it's been fun. It's been great because we've had great teams. But there were like 2 or 3 dominant teams that you just knew they were the best teams in the area, period. Now, like you said, there are probably 4 or 5 teams on that list that you could make an argument or put evidence in they're the best team in the YSN family.
Yeah, I mean, I could make a case right now probably for Salem, for West Branch, for Louisville,
and for Howland.
and for Howland, and even still, like I mean, like that should look. Yeah, I kind of agree with Jeff Collins too. A win against Liberty, I think, would give Brookfield an edge over Springfield. I think if you're going to fit them anywhere, that might be the one on the fringe.
Have they played this year? I forget. I feel like they played. I feel like that was a non-conference game. Yeah, they did. Springfield beat them 43-36.
That is tough then too.
Is that, and then now that was earlier in the season. It was well over 2 weeks ago. It was 7 points. But how do you handle that head to head? Do you say that was because Springfield is a better team, or was that just an off night? Because that's what makes it. The later in the season you go, the harder it is to just perfectly gauge these teams.
Yeah, most certainly. And I mean, that's going to be the interesting part is, will Brookfield crack it? They might. I mean, there might be enough people that vote too, because I mean, only 3 losses on the season too, so similar loss count as Springfield. Who has bigger wins on the season? I know head to head it's kind of hard, but that's a big win over number 1 ranked Liberty at the time. So I mean, that has to go into something too. That has to go into some factor. They beat number 1 ranked.
The other 2 losses for Brookfield were Garfield and Liberty. They have wins over Lakeview, Jackson, Milton, Mineral Ridge, Camel, Crestview, Pymatuning Valley, Columbiana, and now Liberty.
Columbiana is a nice win. Jackson Milton's a nice win for them.
So now let's look at Springfield and look at their schedule and who their wins are, and we'll just make this decision ourselves, right? They have beaten Crestview. They lost to Liberty. They've beaten Brookfield. They've beaten McDonald. They've beaten Sebring, Mineral Ridge, Lowville, Columbiana, East Palestine, United. They've beaten
United's a big one.
They've beaten Western Reserve. They lost to Jackson Milton, lost to Waterloo, beat McDonald, and then they had a game canceled against Hubbard. So I think their biggest win probably. They have big wins over United, Western Reserve, and Jacksonville. I mean, United, Western Reserve, and then Columbiana probably.
And then you got to go for Brookfield.
Then you go back up top to Brookfield. And you could throw Crestview in there now that Crestview's playing.
Yeah, but
then you also have to
have a similar win against Columbiana, has the win over Jackson Milton, which Springfield lost to, and has a win over Liberty too.
Jeff Collins chiming in again, but
Howland is catching fire at the right time. Gathering a lot of big wins as of late.
You know, you look at Howland, and they're still sitting at 5, I believe. But they've won
6, but they beat Canfield.
They've won, and that went into last week's voting because they beat Canfield last week. Wednesday.
Yeah.
But they've won since starting 1-4, they've only lost 1 game, and it was to Akron Hovind.
And that's not a terrible loss to have on your record.
And they've also scored more than anybody else has scored against Akron Hovind. Caveat. I mean,
they scheduled tough for that reason, and I mean, baptized by fire, essentially, with this season and this schedule. But you got to figure they're going to be prepared come the tournament draw.
Does this put Howland in a chance to get into the top 3?
I think Howland has made a great case all year of being in the top 3 for the season, just because of the wins they've had to compile against some great teams. They've had a very tough schedule in front of them, and I think that has to go into a factor. But in the same breath, I think Louisville has to be said the same about, because they've had a tough schedule thrown in front of them too. They've scheduled very tough as well.
Yeah, Louisville is sitting at 10-4 right now. So overall, a better record than Howland, but then you go back and say Howland beat Louisville.
Yeah, that's another big one.
Yeah, it's a whoop. That's what makes it so hard. So I think as far as power rankings are concerned, maybe Howland should be rooting for Salem on Saturday, because if West Branch wins, then it gets a little murky in this top 3, because then you go, well, okay, West Branch wins. What do we do with Louisville? West Branch just moves up 1 spot. But if Salem wins, West Branch has to drop and Salem gets to move up there. I feel like
Jeff Collins agreeing that Howland and Louisville hardest schedules in the power rankings. I'd say so. I'd say they have some of the toughest ones.
I have to say that I love that we're getting so much love from Jeff Collins.
I just like comments on the show.
Ty doesn't care. Joe Schmo comment on it. We'll be cool. When you look at the schedules, I kind of agree. I mean, West Branch has a pretty tough one.
Yeah.
You know, Louisville is an independent schedule with a lot of D1 schools on there.
Yep. And Howland, I mean, they don't.
You know, Canfield will throw their mix into the schedule, but they haven't been as successful.
Yeah, and Howland, I mean, they only are pigeonholed really to 8 games in that AAC, so they have flexibility for non-conference games.
And here's something else that's crazy. Okay, Perry beat Howland handedly, but Canfield beat Perry, and Canfield only lost to Howland by 2. So you can't forget about Canfield. I mean, if you're gonna prop up Howland and say the Howland's really, really good, you got to look at Canfield and say they've only lost to Howland by 2. They beat Perry, and Perry beat Howland.
Isn't, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Howland, Louisville, and Canfield all D1? And
Yes,
so this tournament's gonna get really fun. It's gonna get really fun too, because these teams are probably all gonna be playing each other too when the tournament comes around.
That tournament's ridiculous because you have to go through Canton McKinley and you have to go through.
It's gonna be a gauntlet, but it's gonna be so much fun. I love the D1 tournaments.
What's crazy in that is none of those teams will probably be even in the top 5 in seeds.
Oh, probably not. You know, I mean, out of all those teams, you know which ones are gonna get ranked. I mean, we know right off the bat, like Hoban's there. Like
Hoban. I think Hoban's in the district. I think so. So I mean,
pretty sure they are.
It's not there in the region. You never can tell because sometimes like those Akron teams get into the district.
Yeah, it's sometimes, yeah, it's 50-50.
Because sometimes like Buchtel is in the region, but they're from Akron. And, you know, St. Vincent, St. Mary's in the region, but not the district. So you just – I feel like Hoban is in the region, not the district.
Who do we think has the best chance to win a district in Division I in the Ysn family?
In Division I?
Out of the girls' side?
Holy smokes. I'm going to say – I'd say Louisville. A full-strength Louisville, I'd say Louisville. Yeah, because remember when Howland beat Louisville, they didn't have Kendall Moy.
Yeah, a full-strength Louisville, I'd say. I would – that gut reaction says Louisville. On the girls' side, yeah. For me, on the girls' side, I would say definitely, yeah. That is providing. I am pretty sure that Louisville is D1 too. I'm almost positive.
They are.
Yeah.
My gut reaction is kind of Howland though.
I was thinking that was the toss-up was Howland and Louisville for me because
Howland is peaking right now. Like and maybe they won't continue that peak into the tournaments. Maybe they still have to play Canfield again.
I don't know. They might not even be peaking is the worst part. They still might have different layers to that offense.
But I think Louisville has more ways to beat you. To be honest, like I think Howland's offense boils down to its core, Pompalia and Masucci. If you stop those two, easier said than done. Then you're kind of you're good. You're looking good. We've seen Louisville have games where Adelman leads them. We've seen them have games where McGlitch leads them. We've seen them have games where Kendall Moy leads them. I feel like they have more ways to beat you and more of a balanced offense.
They have a great team and a great story too with Coach Kudo coming back as well. But I don't know, man, because Howland's getting different weapons coming off of the bench as well. So you got some superstar athletes in Pompalia.
That face right there is exactly how I feel when I'm starting to gauge these. Like I said,
it's so hard to say too because I would love to see a Howland Louisville matchup in the tournament because that'd be my choice. Who wins that game would be my choice of saying.
Oh, duh. If you beat the other team that I'm in a toss-up for, you have the best chance of winning the district.
But no, that's a matchup. That's one of those dream matchups. I think if we can see that in the tournament, that would be huge.
I want to see Canfield Howland round 2. I mean,
that's going to happen though. I mean,
it will happen. I can't wait for it because it was a 2-point game. Like it wasn't like Howland ran away with the game at all.
Yeah, and if Canfield gets some revenge, you got to kind of start talking about them then being in that.
That would just be the icing on the cake of this season, and make it even harder to gauge what teams are good, what teams separate themselves. I feel like the chaos of this season, the way it's been heading, it's like West Branch is gonna beat Salem, so then they're gonna split, and then you're gonna see Canfield beat Howland, and they're gonna split, and then you're gonna see West Branch go lose to Marlington, so you can't even say that West Branch has 2 wins over Marlington and Salem has 2 losses over Marlington. So it's just gonna be like, oh man, how do you even start to try to separate these teams?
Garfield keeps getting big wins. You got to start talking about Garfield. Then that's another one. Is like, and I mean, Coach Gilbert does a great job over there too. I mean, and he's getting close to his 250th career win.
Yep,
and as people will say too, as a lot of people will say, and I was even talking with Jonah Rosenberg of the Record Courier last
Love
night.
that guy. He does such good work.
He does fantastic work.
Rosenblum?
I believe so, yeah. And what he was telling me too, and he and I agreed. Great thing with Coach Gilbert, it doesn't matter how great you are at basketball. He finds what you are best at and gets you to be the absolute best at that. Even if it's shooting a jumper from the block. He's like, that's your shot, that's your role, that's what we're going to make you good at. And he makes them effective players. That's a mark of a great coach. He's a fantastic players coach, and he coaches the team to be the best that they can be.
And if it wasn't for some trouble finishing early in the season, they'd have a really good record.
Absolutely. But
they went into the Liberty game with a lead in the fourth quarter. Every loss they had, except for the West Branch loss, they've had a lead in the fourth quarter.
And West Branch was first game of the season for him, right out of the gates. So I mean, yeah, you consider that's a great win for West Branch, great win for Coach DeShields to open up the season. They started out hot, but that one, that's a long time ago. Do we even gauge that as one?
That reminds me, another monkey wrench in these power rankings. Canfield beat up West Branch. Beat them up.
It's so hard to say too. It really is.
So it's crazy. It's wacky. It's fun. It's why we have power rankings for conversations like this. They could go on really forever, but we don't have forever. We only have 32 minutes. You know, Ty, what I remembered? We forgot to check in on our Price is Right challenge. So what I'm going to do, since we obviously missed the end of yesterday's show because we're both silly and just completely messed that up. It was at 54,201 when we checked it yesterday. So now we're both just going to say where we think it is now, cut and dry. It's been about 24 hours. I'll go first because obviously you're 7-0. Or this is week 7, so you're 6-0. I think now it is at, I'm going to say 97,000. And the leeway for this, since it's 24 hours, let's say go with 4,000.
Oh my God.
97.
I'll go higher than you. I think they cracked over 100. Give me 101,000 if I have to go for
101 Dalmatians.
Give me 101,000.
Let's go to ysnlive.com/big dogs, which is where you can go to vote for the Baird Brothers Big Dogs of the Valley. For the first time, there are wrestlers on the list, so don't forget to head over there and get your votes in. Let's see where the boys are at. The boys total right now is 42,000.
Oh, wow.
729. I don't like where this is hitting. The girls right now is at 11,363.
Boys are winning big this week.
Boys are taking it over, but where is wrestling? It's right now the total is at like 53. So the wrestling total is at 48,552.
That's it at over 102,000.
We have to do the math.
So we have to.
If I lost, I want to know how much I lost by. 42,728. Okay. 42,728 plus 11,863 plus 48,552. 103,143.
They cracked the 100,000 to it. They're still going. Wrestling's taking the lead, but boys basketball is getting really close, though.
And I am now 0-7. And I'm 7 down in the picks. This is not a good week for Anthony.
7-7-7. It's a clean sweep for me.
7. Friends fans will get that reference. Everyone else is like, what the heck is Anthony doing? Yeah, so congratulations. Once again, you believe in the voters more than I do, and it pays off.
Pays off once again, and they show up big.
I hate you. Let's go into our picks. For the day, we have plenty of boys matchups. Tonight, we'll also pick the games for tomorrow, as we obviously will not have a show on Saturday to pick those. So let's start with the Twitter polls, which are for tonight's games. Tomorrow's will be put up tomorrow. There's a shocker. And we'll start with what I think is the marquee matchup of the night. Mooney going to Howland. It is 55% Howland on the fan vote tie. You won last night. I believe it was 2-1.
Yes.
I got Beaver Local. You got we'll take this phone call real quick. I'm not going to turn it up before I answer. You're on Running Point, YSNLive.com. Who is
Hello.
this? Hello.
Hey,
Hey.
it's your.
Well, it's my something. I don't know. I think that was a prank call, but we'll digress. Yeah, I got Beaver Local. You got Jefferson, which got the big win over Gerard, 41-23. And what was the other one you got?
I got Waterloo over West.
Waterloo over Western Reserve. You're right. So
5-5. Close game though. Close game for
well,
West.
it must have been 3-1 because you picked up 2 games. What was the third? What was the third one you got on?
I just picked up the one game. I was 6-0 before. I was up 6, and then I'm up 7.
Oh, you were up. Okay, I thought you were up. Okay. We digress. It is Mooney and Howland. Do you want to defer or take it?
I'll take it, and I'm gonna take the Lady Tigers in this one.
This is boys basketball.
Oh yeah, shoot.
Friday night. We're on Friday.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're on Friday. We're talking girls basketball, but that doesn't matter. I'm still taking Howland in this matchup. I still go with the Tigers in this one. I think Anthony Masucci up for big dogs. He's looking real good at the right time. And I think looking at this, I think he's going to have a big night tonight against Mooney. But big thing with Coach Palermo and what he's doing with the Cardinals is he gets that team to work as a unit. And they have some big wins under their belt. When you already say you have a Cheney win under your belt, that's a big win on the season. Mooney's been in talks, and they've been in the power rankings before. So I wouldn't be surprised for a Cardinals win. But tonight, I'm going to go with the Tigers.
You know what, Ty? I'm saying the heck with it. I mean, if I'm going down in the blaze of glory. I'm going to split with you this one.
You're going card.
Take Mooney. I'm just, hey, I got to make it back somehow. You got to risk it for the biscuit, right? That's the whole bucket.
I mean, in those 50-50 games, you might as well try to take chances.
So I take Mooney, you take Howland. We'll go to the next one. It is Columbiana going to Lisbon. Right now, the Clippers have 80% of the fan vote. Lisbon getting on the floor for the first time since the Austin Daly incident. And once again, thoughts and prayers and all the well wishes to the Daly family. But we're happy to see the team back on the floor tonight, and they are hosting Columbiana. Ty, my first pick. Sorry, because it's going to be an emotional game. But I do know the Lisbon Blue Devils are down other numbers too. So they're struggling with some depth. I think Columbiana gets to win tonight on the road.
Yeah, I'll go Columbiana as well in this one. I think but the funny thing with sports is emotions can always be a certain fuel to a fire. So I wouldn't be surprised if the improbable happens tonight.
All right, let's go to Gerard traveling to South Range. The Indians have 78% of the fan vote. Ty, this is your first pick. Gerard, they've looked really good. They just have one or two games there that are lopsided, but most of the time, very, very competitive. Both these teams played a close game with Struthers. South Range fell on the wrong end of a close game, and Gerard fell on the right end of a close game. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'll go with Gerard in this one. I think Gerard's looked really impressive too, and like we said, I mean, until someone does it, you got to give the other team respect. You got to give the Wildcats respect, and Gerard, they were able to.
They did it.
Give me Gerard in this one.
I will go Gerard as well to get the win on the road. I think it'll be close though.
Yeah, I mean, South Range has been playing in some close games, so I don't expect this to be any different.
South Range is starting to put stuff together. Ever since they gave up like 70 one night and got blown out of the water, their defense is starting to get back to that South Range defense that never takes them out of a game. They're always, I feel like if South Range is playing the defense they know how to play and they're coached to play, they'll always be in the game. The question is, can they get enough scoring to stay, relevant and stay up in that thing? So Springfield going to Sebring, and the Tigers have 88% of the fan vote. I'll go with Springfield.
Yeah, I'll go with Springfield as well, as they know what happened in that Sebring gym last year too, and I think that's the one they want to avenge that loss last year that cost them the MVAC Scarlet side. So they're definitely going into that gym with a vengeance. Give me the Tigers.
Mobile going to Jackson Milton. This is your first pick. And the Rockets have 100% of the fan vote, 10 votes, all going to the Rockets.
Yeah, I think with Anthony Lucena and Brady Manovsky and all these guys that are there, I think they're playing a great brand of basketball. Those two together have been playing fantastic, and when you add Vinny Balone into that, that's a three-headed monster. Give me Lobo in this one.
They can't sleep on the Blue Jays. They already have a couple of upsets this year.
Absolutely.
Both of them were home, so now this is on the road. I will take Louisville as well.
It's different when you got that Jackson Milton crowd fully behind you at home games.
Newton Falls at champion. Newton Falls, the reigning MVAC champs. Not quite that strength this year, but still a very good program. They travel to a champion team that's been up and down as well. The Flashes have 57% of the fan vote, 7 votes in that poll. It is my first pick, and I will take the home team champion.
Yeah, I think Champion's looking real good too at this point in the season. Both sides, boys and girls, are. I'll take the Flashes as well in this one.
East Palestine travels to Valley Christian, and Valley Christian has 100% of the fan vote on Twitter right now, Ty. It is your first pick, and where are you going?
I like what Valley Christian's looking like in that EOAC too on the boys' side. I think they're always competitive, and Coach Carroll does a great job over there. Give me the Eagles tonight.
Give me Dolph and the Eagles, man.
Got to get a life, Anthony.
Get a life. I love that. That was the best post-game interview we've had so far.
That was fantastic.
Hands down. McDonald will go to Mineral Ridge, and the Blue Devils have 80% of the fan vote. Mineral Ridge with just one win on the season. They're definitely struggling right now. McDonald trying to take advantage of it.
Yep. My first pick or yours?
Mine. I'm going to take McDonald.
Yeah, I'll go with Coach Francischelli as well on the Blue Devils. I think McDonald's looking good in a lot of games. They've been competitive in a lot of games.
This one could be iffy. Canton South traveling to Salem. It's your first pick. The Quakers have 56% of the fan vote on Twitter. Close one on the fan vote, close one to pick. Ty, where are you leaning?
I mean, because Salem has been competitive in a lot of games this year. Salem basketball always is. Canton South is always a good program too. I think as of right now, I think Canton South is 4th in that EBC, and I think Salem is right there, or right around there. Salem's record though is not reflected on how good that team is, though, is the problem.
And rock the banner?
No, because Canton South has looked so good this year. I got to go with Canton South in this one.
You know what? I'll rock the banner. I'll take it.
He's taking Salem.
Give me the Fighting Quakers, the biggest oxymoron in sports.
You got two splits already.
All right, Jefferson will be traveling to Lakeview, the Falcons, with a 55% fan vote. Lakeview's been trending up, but Jefferson has 2. This could be a sneaky, interesting game between two teams in the middle tier of the NE8.
Yeah, I know, and this is one that's going to really kind of propel them into that wild card status, I think, for the NE8 with Struthers and Gerard being kind of the leaders going into it right now.
My first pick, I'll take Lakeview. Jefferson. I'm gonna take Jefferson.
I was gonna say I'll comfortably take Jefferson. Then I think Jefferson's looked very impressive in a lot of their games this season, and they've been able to score upwards of 75 to 80 plus points in games, and they've looked really dynamic on offense at times. So give me the Falcons in this one.
All right, here's a shocker. Louisville is playing a really good team on the road. They will go to Marlington, and the fan vote split 50-50 tie.
This one, I'm comfortable rocking the banner. I'll go with Coach Siegfried and the Louisville Leopards on this one.
Will Aljancic and the Leopards, I think they'll get the win as well. We go to Struthers as they are hosting Niles. It'll be 89% to the Struthers Wildcats on the fan vote. My first pick, I will take Struthers.
Yeah, I've been a believer of Struthers since the beginning of the season. I think they've been a solid team. I'll believe in them again this one. I'll go with the Wildcats.
And we go on to the next game in our lineup, and it is LeBray at Garfield. I apologize. The poll says Gerard. It's LeBray at Garfield. Typo. And LeBray still has 45% of the fan vote. So, I mean, the fans are voting on Gerard LeBray. So, I'm going to throw this fan vote out the window. But who are you taking for LeBray at Garfield?
This one's tough because both teams have some solid wins on the season, and both teams have looked really good. I think now that LeBray is at full strength, you can't really measure a lot of those early season games. Ian Stevens makes a lot of all the difference on that court. I got to go with the Vikings in this one.
Give me Garfield and their new 1,000-point scorer, Caden Spade, to get the win. I'll split right with you. That's your third split of the day. I'm going for it, Ty.
You got to go. You got to try to get back into it.
Latonia travels to United. United has the 75% fan vote. It is my first pick. I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah, give me United as well in this one. United always one of the best in the EOAC, both on boys and girls sides.
Brookfield travels to Camel. Camel having 75% of the fan vote. Ty, this is your first pick.
Give me the number one seeded Rockin' Red Devils in our power rankings. I've been a big fan of what they've done all season. I think they're going to get the win again.
Boardman travels to – I'll take Camel too. I almost skipped that. I'll take Camel too as Boardman travels to East. The Spartans have to bounce back from their loss to Warren Harding, and they have 89% of the fan vote right now. It is my first pick, and I'll take the Spartans.
Yeah, I think the Spartans are going to come into this game a little bit angry, and when they come in angry, they lock it down on defense, and we've seen them hold some of the area's best to under 30 points in games. So give me the Spartans in this one as well.
Ravenna Southeast comes to town to play Warren JFK. Last time JFK won handily, but Coach K very adamant that this will not be as easy as the scoreboard made it appear to be in the first matchup. They have 73% of the fan vote right now due to the Eagles. It is your first pick. I picked Portland first. So.
Yeah, and Southeast is a great program, and they're always tough to beat every
Led
time.
by another Matisse.
Yeah. Yep, I have a lot of respect for Coach Matisse down there at Southeast, and I think the Pirates always have a great program down there in Ravenna Southeast, and not too far from my home. So, I mean, I get a chance to see them sometimes. But in this one, I'm going to go with the trend, and I mean, that's always hard to go with this way this season's been, but I'm going to go with what Coach K and the Eagles have been able to do. They've been successful against Southeast before. I'm going to take them to do it again. Give me Warren JFK.
I will take Southeast as well. I mean, not Southeast as well. I'll take JFK as well. And I think especially because this one's on at home.
Yeah, I think that makes all the difference in this one. I know Southeast is going to be coached up and ready for this one, but I think it being at home is going to be a huge play for Warren JFK.
You already won the hard one going to Southeast to get the win. So I think everything's in front of them. We'll go to Cheney going to Canfield. 64% of the fan vote on with the Cowboys, but this should be a good one in Canfield. Ty, it is my first pick, and I will take Cheney.
Yeah, I got to rock with the Cowboys as well in this one. I think Canfield has a solid squad, but I think that Cheney at times when they're running in transition and that defense turns to offense, they become overwhelming. And I think if Canfield's not careful, that's exactly what's going to happen. Either way, I think Cheney just is a little bit better built right now going into this game.
Waterloo goes to Western Reserve. Right now, Western Reserve has 56% of the fan vote. This is your first pick and your game.
Yeah, this one's going to be tough because Waterloo has looked good in a lot of games, but they just have trouble closing it out, whereas Western Reserve has starting to figure out how to close out games as of late. David Altier is a great player for them. Naver Hassan for Waterloo has looked really good this season too. But this being a home game, I think I'm going to go with Western Reserve in this one.
Going away from your sweethearts.
I'll go away with my sweethearts for tonight.
I'll take Western Reserve as well. And last but not least for tonight, Beaver Local will be at Edison, and the Beavers have 100% of the fan vote.
Yeah, Beaver Locals looked really good. They kept it real close with East Liverpool, and I think that's been a huge, huge factor in Beaver Local and showing that Beaver Local has grown throughout this season, and they've made great adjustments. I think Beaver Local has a clear advantage in this one. Give me the Beavers.
And my first, should have been my first pick. I will take the Beavers as well. So
I thought
now
you picked the Beavers.
What? No, I didn't say it.
I thought you said you picked Beaver Local. Is that? Well, yeah, it is your first pick anyway. I thought you said you picked Beaver Local.
We go to Saturday. It's a busy day in the Buckeye Championships. Beaver Local will be playing Cambridge at 10 a.m. Mike Mackenzie will have the call. This is girls basketball for Saturday. I'll rock the banner and go with Beaver Local.
Yeah, I'll take Beaver Local as well.
All right, we go to more Buckeye 8 champions as East Liverpool playing at 12 p.m. But I don't see a opponent. I don't know who they're playing, so we'll skip that one. Back to more girls basketball. Niles at Badger. Matt Morrison will have the call, and it's your first pick.
I'll take Badger.
Me too. Bristol goes to Liberty, and Liberty will have to bounce back from their loss to Brookfield, and this is a good Bristol team. I'm going to take Liberty to the bounce back. I think they're well coached. I don't think that loss will lay over in their system.
Yeah, I think if anything, what Coach Fischel said about Poland is going to be the same said about Liberty. They're going to come into this one pissed off. I'm going to have to go with the Lady Leopards as well.
Ursuline travels to Girard. Noah Ricks will have the call there. I was high on Girard, but then I saw what happened last night. Now I don't know. Now I'm kind of hesitant. I know Ursuline has struggled this year too. It's your first pick. I picked Liberty first.
Yeah. I just think Jefferson is a really good team though too. I can't discredit that, even though I've seen Ursuline be so competitive with some good teams though as well. Who's home team?
Girard.
Give me Girard.
Okay, I'll go with Girard too. I think they'll redeem themselves in my eyes. Let's go. West Branch, Salem. This is the big one. This is the rivalry. This is for EBC placement. West Branch needs it to stay on pace with Marlington. Salem needs it to even have a shot in their book of competing in the EBC. And less important to the teams, but really important to us at YSN. It's probably for number one in the power rankings as well. My first pick. Ooh. You know what? For the chaos, let's have West Branch split. I'll take West Branch. They played really well on Wednesday. They beat a pretty good Mooney team handedly, 69-31. They're rolling right now. I'll take the Warriors.
Who's home?
Salem.
Oh man, that is. You are looking for chaos in this one. I just think so. There's so much height on West Branch that
look. Last time they won, it was on an Abby Davidson buzzer beat. Well, not a but like a game shot at the last seconds.
Yeah, it's such a toss up. I gotta go the chaos with you. I think West Branch is gonna do it on the road. I think it's gonna be chaotic.
Now it's interesting because Salem has had it'll be interesting because Salem's had a week to prepare, and West Branch had a game. So which one of those gives you an advantage? either having the week to prepare or having a game to prepare in the middle of the week. I've always been the attitude I'd rather play than practice. But
Yeah, but Coach Hamilton knows how to make practice time work, and she's going to have her girls ready. It's going to be
all right,
interesting.
we got to go for these last ones. We're in the final countdown. St. John and Paul at Jefferson girls basketball, not on the network, is happening. 2:15. I'll take Jefferson.
Yeah, give me the Falcons.
I know nothing about St. John and Paul.
Yeah.
Not apologetically. Howland at Boardman, 2:30 tip. Your first pick.
Lady Tigers.
I'll take the Tigers as well. Warren Harding at East. This is going to be a 2:30 tip. I will take Harding.
Yeah, I'll go Harding as well.
And then the nightcap for girls basketball, Austintown Fitch going to Canfield. It's senior night at Canfield. They're going to be feeling it. They're going to be honoring Alyssa Dill and their other seniors. I think Francisco's a senior as well. Give me the Cardinals.
Cardinals have looked really good. I think Fitch is going to be able to keep it close. They've been able to be a lot more competitive for being such a young team, but I think experience has trumped over a lot of things this season in other games around the network. Give me Canfield in this one.
Boys basketball, Warren Harding at Struthers, 6:45 tip.
This is going to be a tough one, but I got to go with the Wildcats in this one.
I'll take Warren Harding.
He's going to rock with
I
her.
need to gain ground. Columbiana at Heartland Christian. This one, 7 o'clock tip. I will take Heartland Christian.
Yeah, I'll take the Lions.
Ursuline at Springfield. This one's a good one. Ooh. Your first pick.
Who's home team?
Springfield.
Give me the Tigers with Tiger Nation behind them.
I'll split. What the heck? I got to go down swinging. Give me Ursuline. Wellsville at Beaver Local. This one's going to be 7 o'clock tip. I'll take the Tigers.
Ooh. At Beaver Local? Give me Beaver Local in that one.
All right. We're getting nuts. Wyndham at Badger. This one, I'll take Badger.
Yeah, I'll go Badger as well.
It was your first pick. I apologize. You'll get this next one. Cheney at Camel.
Oh, yeah. I just get that one. That's damn. Give me
you fought for the game, so you get the pick.
Give me Camel.
Give me Cheney. I'll split with you there too. Canfield at West Branch. This was another one, man. Let's go for it. This one's at West Branch, 7 o'clock tip. My first pick. West Branch there's a chink in their armor this week. 2 losses, both to Alliance. But I think Alliance matches up a lot differently than Canfield does. But Canfield has so much size. West Branch does too with Coffee. Give me West Branch to bounce back and get a win.
Warriors.
You're not going to split. Okay. Whew. We split with a lot, so let's just get on the same page real quick. I think we split with the first game of the night. We split with Mooney Howland, right? I went Mooney, you picked Howland. We split with Waterloo Western Reserve. No, we both picked Western Reserve.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one we split with on Friday. I think everything else came on Saturday. Because we split with Salem. We both picked West Branch. Where did we split? I can't even remember. This is terrible. We should write this stuff down.
We split like 6 times.
I know. And we got like 2 minutes to figure it out. We'll figure it out ourselves. We don't have to figure it out in the air. Well, we're gonna take a 70-hour break. Me and Ty will collect ourselves and try to understand what's going on this weekend with our picks. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a wonderful weekend. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next, followed by the Power Hour, and then bunch of basketball on the network tonight and tomorrow. Don't miss it. We'll be back on Monday.